Hello everyone, welcome back to another episode of To The Max Outdoors. I'm Matt. This week's video is going to be a short, quick, and dirty how I set up a bow fishing bow. I have handed down my original bow fishing bow setup to Max. He's going to utilize it from here on out. It is a Darton S50 that's probably older than I am, and it has stuck a pile of fish over the years. Max and I are not big time bow fishermen, but we do carry him in the boat with us. There's a local lake. It's a flood control. The Army Corps of Engineers utilizes this lake for flood control. And the neat part about this lake is it pushes a bunch of water back in a bunch of what's fields and grassland that the state manages. 2, 3, 4 foot of water. I can float my boat in it perfectly. This lake is known to grow 20, 30, 40 pound grass carp. I believe they're grass carp or common carp. I'm not real sure. I'll slide some pictures in here at the end from when Max was a kid and probably the first time he actually ever got to go. But it's a fun time. The carp go and get cut up for trapping bait, and the rest of them goes into the garden for fertilizer. So, like I said, it's not a big thing we do. It's just a little bit of fun we had when we're out chasing some spring crappie, walleye, perch, that kind of stuff. So, that being said, like I said, this is a Hoyt Triton bow. It's got 70 pound limbs on it, I believe, so it's a little stout for a bow fishing bow, but rather than go out and spend $400 or $500, we're going to utilize it. Like I said, this guy's retired. Max inherited the old one. This guy's retired from hunting. Max is going to inherit my Darton. We're going to go from there. Now, what I got here is a Cajun archery, I think it's just called the Winch, I believe is the name of it. I do shoot, I really do like these. These are AMS Raider Pro Series arrows. I really do like the makeup of them. They're pretty flexible. They're overall pretty rigid but forgiving arrow as far as shooting a fish and being able to reuse them a bunch. And I will tell you, if you're getting new into bow fishing, always carry a spare arrow with you. You'll ding a rock or a fish will break one off. Anybody that's familiar with them, they'll know that the tips of these thread down. That holds the barbs back. When they go in, they won't pull out. When you go to remove the arrow, you unthread the tip, the barbs flip around the other way, boom, you can pull them right out. I will tell you that these are, you'll hit rocks because you'll not see them under the water. Usually you're up shooting close to the bank where there is rocks, or you're, like in our case, we're shooting down into what used to be like a field. Just keep in mind to keep one of these extra in the boat handy with you, or in the truck if you're walking. Just keep one handy. I've learned that the hard way numerous times, and I'll say it to you, and this year we'll go out and we'll not have a spare arrow, but just keep that in mind. So the quick and dirty part of setting this bow up is I don't have all the squares and I don't have all the, let's say, fine-tuning bow equipment. This bow here is going to shoot 10, 15 feet at the most. I'm not worried about it cutting paper holes. You can't paper tune this bow because this arrow is super, super flimsy and they're going to take a bend. We're not worried about that. I'm going to show you my quick and dirty way. It's been working for a long time, and I'll show you how I do it. So, first of all, the rest. So what I do with the rest to get the, let's say, the in and out portion of the rest, we want to locate 0 on the rest from inboard and outboard of the face of the riser here. So there again, this is just a quick and dirty way to do it. I know there's a lot better ways to do it, or take it to your local bow shop if you're scared of it. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to knock the arrow, and I'm going to come down here, and I know that my limb pockets are parallel to each other on this bow. Maybe some bows are different, but this bow here, my limb pockets, I say limb pockets where your limb bolts are, this limb pocket and this limb pocket down here, they're in line with each other. So what I do, and all you do is put this up against your stomach, you're going to sight down this arrow, and you're going to put the string up here parallel with this riser. Let's go see if we can go around. So I'm looking down the string, I'm parallel with the top riser, parallel with the bottom riser, and when I look, like I was sighting the iron sights, when I look down that arrow, I'm cutting that arrow in half, and I'm resting here, and I'm resting here. That's a pretty quick and easy way to know that your left and right's pretty good. There again, I don't feel that this is super critical, so that's the way I do it, and that's worked for me. Now, when it goes to checking, well, if we keep dropping the arrow off here, and somebody might say, well, why don't you shoot a whisker biscuit or a containment style rest? Well, I sight down the arrow. I don't like the brushes or the whisker biscuit getting in my way. Cajun Archery, AMS, they all make roller rests and all that stuff, but they're 35 to 40 bucks. We might use these 5 times a year and it'll get put up and never be used again. My local J&R Sporting Goods, my local store carries these rests for $4 or $5. I'll buy a bunch of these $4 or $5 ones before I spend a lot of money, and the arrow's still gonna fall off anyways. So what I do to find up and down center on there is I'm simply taking, this is just an old GoMart rewards card, to be honest with you. I've nipped the corner off of it, put it up against my serving, put it up against my arrow. Let's see if we can get this in the view a little better here so everybody can see it. Boom, there we go. I'm just a tad bit high on the front end. That's just a quick, easy way to see it. I want to be a tad bit high. That's a pretty good tip. I mean, maybe if you're ever out somewhere or you think you might have knocked your bow out of tune, grab a credit card out of your wallet or whatever, put it up there. You're looking for a perpendicular angle here, so to speak. Yeah, you probably want your front just a tad taller, but this right here will get you in the ballpark right quick. There you go. Credit card, made a 90. I'm tight against the serving and just barely a gap on it, meaning I'm nose high on the arrow. So sit with me. I'll move the camera around. We'll fling a couple in this bag here and show you what I'm talking about. All right, here we go. We're going to shoot this bow here to see how well we did on tuning it. Now, just to recap what we did here real quick is to set this bow up for the arrow being straight. Went down the back of the string. We put it in line with the limb pockets. We're sighting down this like we're lining up iron sights. My limb pocket on top, I'm string on the edge of it, string on the edge of it. I'm looking directly down the arrow and I'm cutting that arrow in half. That's what I wanted. We took our little business card, credit card, whatever we wanted to do. We put that on the serving and we put it up against the string, and we're pretty well at a 90-degree angle. So I'm fairly happy with it. There again, we're shooting 10-15 feet. It's not super critical. Now, going forward, what you want to make sure you always do, hit the release button on the reel. We'll pull out a tad bit of slack. I'm going to make sure my stop goes down to the end of the arrow. And you'll see here I've taken the stabilizer off the bow. It's something that's kind of concerned me. I never have shot a stabilizer. If there's somebody out there that's watching that's more into bow fishing than I am, let me know what you do about a stabilizer. I'd really love to mount the little GoPro on this stabilizer and get an actual video of the arrow going into these carp. So my email's in the about section. It's tothemaxoutdoors@gmail.com, or drop me a comment down and I'd love to hear from you. I'd love to see something. So like I said, we are in my basement. I'm going to shoot. It's about 15 foot. I stepped it off. I'm going to aim for the center white dot right here. I'm going to step back here, and I do shoot a release. I do sight down the arrow. I don't like shooting fingers. It's just a personal preference. I know a lot of guys shoot those rollers on their string. I personally don't care for it. I've got so used to release. That's just what I do, and it's been effective for me. So I'll quit running my mouth. I'm going after the middle dot, and we're going to watch how the arrow goes into the bag. We don't want to see any tail whipping left, right, up, and down. So here we go. I'm going to step behind the camera here. I'm going to make sure my reel is unlocked. Sighting down the arrow. Here we go. All you got to do, the lock that I should have showed you. All you got to do is grab the handle, just like a regular reel. It peels it back up. Now, if you'd have a fish on here, this does get a little more exciting with a fish on it, but it's just keep a hold of the bow like normal and reel it up. I was just trying to do it so I wouldn't have a bunch of slack reeled up, but as you can see pretty well here, put the bow down. as you can see pretty well here in the video, yeah, you're able to see that. We went into target pretty daggone straight. Get it up here where you can see it. We went into the target nice and straight. We didn't tail whip left or right. Now, I have shot this about 6 times in the house already, and I know that that's pretty good. So that kind of proves the point there that little redneck bow tune setup works. There again, 15-20 feet is about all you're ever going to shoot this thing. That's perfect for what we're going to do. So thanks for watching. Drop me a comment, and here shortly in the next couple months, we'll be bringing some bow fishing videos out. Thank you for watching To The Max Outdoors.